Hi, what's up? I have good news for you today. In Virginia, a Democrat by the name of Louise Lucas place was raided. Basically for fraud, like what else is new? Like that's the Democrat's favorite things. But it wasn't just her office, it was also a cannabis dispensary that she owned was raided. So when people say that one of the black pillars, and you know who I'm talking about, say that nothing's happening and there are no arrests, there are. It is unfortunately, that just takes a long time. I mean, it took them a long time to get Trump, and it still didn't work. But it's working on them because they know they're guilty. Like, let's be honest, that's why they're freaking out. Don't take my word for it. Take a look.
Today that these are court-authorized criminal search warrants that they are issuing, and they're going into the building behind me. This is the office here in Portsmouth of State Senator Louise Lucas. You can likely see some of the FBI agents behind me. All of the staffers inside this building were told to come outside. I could hear them saying that they were not allowed back in the building. Throughout the last hour, we've been seeing the FBI come and go carrying boxes out of the building. Now, just across the parking lot next to where I am, there is a cannabis dispensary. We know that the state senator is associated with several cannabis locations and dispensaries, and what we're seeing there, a completely different scene carrying out. SWAT teams arrived with their weapons drawn, telling anyone in the building to come out of the building with their hands up. We also saw at least 3 people being taken away, taken into custody. First they were put in handcuffs, put on the ground, and then they were taken away. So it's a slightly less large presence than we did see earlier, but there still is a good amount of FBI agents still here on the ground. Also, what happened within the last hour, the Senator Louise Lucas arrived here herself. I was able to speak with her. I asked her what her reaction was to all of this. She told me she had no idea what they were doing here. I asked her about the different locations that they might be. She, in response, asked me what locations the FBI were at today. We know, according to officials, at least 10 locations are being looked at today. Harris.
Alex, great job getting her right as this was going on.
Sandra and John, so as you can see behind me, the FBI are currently at the office of State Senator Louise Lucas. We're told, according to sources, that this is a search that involves as many as 10 properties across the state, including the cannabis shop, which is just in the parking lot behind me.
This is the FBI. We have a warrant. Put out with your hands up. Nothing in your hands.
SWAT teams in full force told people to come out of that shop with their hands up, arresting at least 3 people today. Sources say this is potentially connected to a corruption probe. And Senator Louise Lucas is the president pro tempore of the Virginia Senate. That makes her one of the most powerful figures in the legislature. I asked her about these raids. This is what she had to say.
I don't know what's going on. I just came from another billboard, so I'm just going to wait until they tell me.
Workers at this office behind me were told to leave the building while the FBI came and left, bringing big boxes in and out of the building over the last several hours. We did see one person who was outside with his head in his hands crying. We do still see a large presence of FBI, not only here at the office behind me, but also at this cannabis shop amid this ongoing probe.
Yeah. So if you ever hear anyone saying that there are no arrests going on, yeah, that's not true. Again, the thing with James Comey, heck, to be honest, depending on how tied with this Spanberger is, the people of Virginia might get lucky with this. And, not have to keep that wicked witch of the West. But you know what else this reminds me of? About how Louisiana's first black female sheriff, because that's the only thing she cared about, her words, her voting campaign was, I'm a black woman, vote for me. And she got arrested for 30 counts of fraud, which, I'm just going to be honest, she wasn't doing her job, she was just doing bad stuff. But it really goes with the fact that the Democrats are just, they can't do anything without fraud. They run on fraud. That's just a fact, because socialism and fraud go hand in hand. Hey, let's take a look.
We start with some major breaking news. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson indicted in connection with an investigation into last year's jailbreak in New Orleans.
So this indictment comes in connection with a state investigation by Attorney General Liz Murrell's office into last year's mass escape by 10 inmates. The bombshell news came down within just the last hour.
And so we do have team coverage for you right now to break down those charges and what's next in this investigation and the legal process. Let's start with WDSU reporter Jasmine Franklin with the latest. Jasmine?
And Stella, we are still combing through all the new details from this case as we just heard from the Attorney General's office, Liz Murrell, providing that update right now. We do know Sheriff Hudson has been indicted, 30 counts indictment. They're facing several charges, including malfeasance in office, conspiracy to commit malfeasance, filing or maintaining false public records, along with a number of other charges. Now, documents show her bond has been set at $300,000, and she's not the only person facing charges. The sheriff's Chief Financial Officer Bianca Brown was also indicted on 20 counts, facing similar charges, including conspiracy to commit obstruction of justice. Now, this comes nearly 1 year after 10 inmates ran out of the Orleans Parish Jail here. Many of those inmates were facing serious charges and now all have been brought back into custody. But there were many concerns, specifically with the sheriff, regarding a timeline of notifying the public after the escape happened last May, and also how the jailbreak was even possible. Michelle Woodfork is set to take office here as the new sheriff of the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office starting on Monday. Reporting live outside of the jail, I'm Jasmine Franklin. Back to you.
Now, all of this comes just one day after Hudson made her farewell address, set to officially vacate that office on Monday.
Yeah, but before that, she is set to make her first court appearance tomorrow.
WDSU reporter Alyssa Gomez picks up our live team coverage. Alyssa, we know that there's an ad hoc judge, former Judge Franz Ziblich, who will hear this case tomorrow.
Yeah, Travers, and I'll tell you, as soon as we got here to the courthouse, all the reporters running inside to try to get a copy of the affidavit. Unfortunately, the clerk's office telling us that they do not have that paperwork in hand just yet, so they could not give us copies and told us to come back tomorrow morning, which we will be here. And the sheriff also expected to be here, as you mentioned, at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, like Randy said, this all comes as the sheriff is expected to leave office, even giving her farewell address yesterday after serving for 5 years as the leader of the Orleans Parish Justice Center. In that address, she touched on the jailbreak in May of last year, citing it as one of her most challenging experiences. Today, the Attorney General saying in that indictment that the sheriff did not comply with basic legal requirements. Again, this is a bombshell announcement that just dropped a couple of moments ago, so you can expect us to continue to follow it throughout the next couple of days, probably next couple of weeks, and we will be back out here at the courthouse when those doors open tomorrow morning to get a copy of that affidavit as well. Back to you.
Live right now, former state and federal prosecutor Matt Coman. Matt, big question here. How do we go from a jailbreak, which some people said was maybe incompetence, to criminal charges now for the sheriff of Orleans Parish?
Well, actually, the malfeasance in office charge actually can charge anyone with failing to perform a duty that they were required to perform. So the statute itself is very wide in scope. In fact, I believe there was another individual's, a sheriff's office employee, actually Sterling Williams, who was charged with one of the same type of offenses and failing to perform various security requirements of his particular role. So we've got the malfeasance as well as the failure to maintain accurate records and filing false public records, as well as the obstruction of justice charge itself. So you've got a wide range of charges. We got 30 counts total against the sheriff and 20 against the CFO. So it looks like there was a thorough investigation, and it's not just one particular incident. It's going to be multiple requirements that were violated, and that's what we expect to see in the indictment when you do see it.
And Matt, when it comes to those documents, would this be something along the lines of, because again, a lot of this is just speculation, but is this the handling of those documents, the covering up involving those documents as it relates to the jailbreak?
The obstruction of justice charge and the failure to maintain accurate records and or filing false records can actually be altering a record and filing some false record, or withholding the filing of a document and a record that you were required by law to file. So again, that particular charge, again, like the malfeasance in office charge, is very wide in scope, and a number of different factors could go into that particular violation.
And Matt, real quickly, so if convicted, what kind of jail time or penalty are we looking at?
All these are felonies. Every one of them, from the malfeasance, 0 to 10 years, up to 20 years in prison, 10 years on the obstruction charge, depending on what the underlying or predicate offense would be. So they're all felonies. There's no mandatory minimum on any of these. And obviously the sheriff and the CFO, if they were convicted, would be first offenders. So that would be up to the district judge that would have that case, but they're all felonies.
All right, Matt Coman, stick around. You're no stranger to prosecuting high-profile cases. You prosecuted former Mayor Ray Nagin. Stick around. We're going to come back to you in just about 25 minutes here. We have a lot more questions to get to on this major story.
And again, if you want to keep up with the very latest, you can join us online at WDSU.com or our mobile.
Yeah, whenever someone tries to tell you that there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans in the local level, yes, there is. Look at this. For starters, they don't run on race. MAGA don't run on race. And two, they actually do believe in law and order, and they're not soft on crime. On whatever they say. No, there was a prisoner who helped him, a prison guard, who helped him get out because it was so bad that they said that the prisoner was threatening to shank him. Because there was no one really there to run it. Because she spent all the money on stuff they didn't need. Just more fraud and abuse. That's all you really get with Democrats. And now to end this, I like to go through the Bible with a passage that just really makes sense. Deuteronomy 20:15, the law of concerning unsolved murder. If anyone is found slain lying in the field in the land, which the Lord your God is giving you to possess, and it is not known who killed him, then your elders and your judge shall go out and measure the distance from the slain man to the surrounding cities. And it shall be that the elders of the city nearest to the slain man will take a heifer which he has not been worked, and which has not pulled with a yoke. The elders of the city shall bring the heifer down to the valley with flowing water. Then and is neither plowed nor sow. They shall break the heifer's neck there in the valley. Then the priests of the sons of Levi shall come near, for the Lord your God has chosen them to minister to him, to be blessed in the name of the Lord. By the word of every conservator and every assault shall be settled, and all the elders of the city nearest to the slain man shall wash their hands over the heifer's neck was broken in the valley. Then they shall answer and say, our land shall not shed this blood, nor have our eyes seen it. Provide atonement, O Lord, for your people Israel, who you have redeemed, and do not lay innocent blood to the charge of your people Israel. And atonement shall be provided on their behalf for their blood, so you shall put away the guilt of innocent blood from among you when you do what is right in the sight of the Lord. Thank you. This has been the Navigator Podcast. Come back again soon. See you later.